Alright, this is a Sony TC366 reel-to-reel machine. Doesn't work, so we just have to do a bit of a clean out around the shop. We're going to find out what makes it tick. Huh. So the whole thing comes straight out of the case. These might have some reusability later. A little rubber feet. Huh. It's a walnut veneered plywood case. There's something there. That's a decent sized little motor. This old, hey Shay, remember the quiet part? Can you be super quiet? Thank you. This old solid state stuff has always been fascinating and pretty tough. I mean, those are the chassis mounts right there. Shay, quiet. And so you can tell, just don't make them the way they used to, you know what I mean? Here's a voltage selector right here. You pull this knob out, and you could have, yeah, but. Okay, maybe later. And it would give you 125, 220, 240, 100 volt, 110, 117 volt, depending on which configuration you had that. It's kind of fascinating. Why won't this come off? Now I should be able to get this faceplate off. That knob right there. I'm pretty sure that's not how it's supposed to come off. But there it is. There's the faceplate. Primarily plastic with contact adhesive aluminum skin over the top of it. The whole thing's been smashed right through here, which might explain why it didn't work at all. Look at these big take-up heads and this huge flywheel. I really would like to get that motor out of there. So there's your drive wheel, there's your minute counters. Left and right meters, these trippy little red backlit meters. That's kind of cool. Here are your heads, your read head. I believe that's your tracking head. I believe that is your recording head right there. Speed controls. Well, I think we're going to have to cut into fast forward mode and just watch me pull it apart. So when it's all said and done, what do we have here? Well, to be honest, not much. You know, there never is in these big old solid state machines. This one just sort of had even less than normal. Here we got a pair of, there's a 20K trimmer and a 100K trimmer, 20 and 100 again. So those might be valuable enough to hang on to. Those would replace the volume knob and something that got broken. None of the switches are really any good because they're so multi-purpose. They'll have $20 or $30 different configurations on the back. So it just doesn't lend itself to simple repurposing. There's a headphone jack. Seems that I use those on occasion. I'm not going to bother to pull those other two. I only need one little reed switch right there, but mostly it's just junk. Got some interesting little brackets and mounting hardware. You can't fault Sony for that back in the day. There's just a momentary clicker switch. 3 amp. It's not really worth hanging on to. Some of these wheels, I thought, oh, maybe they could be turned. Nah, they're nothing. Just acetate wheels. Big mechanical multi-purpose switch. This is what handled switching between directions, I believe. This is the reverser. But it's of no use to me. See what I mean about, look at all these, just 9 million ports. It's only a 2-position switch. And these are a little better. Well, that one's broken anyways. Like I said, I think these things have been smashed pretty hard. The only one that's probably worth saving would be that one. But I don't need any. It's just clutter. On here, this big hunk of chassis. You know, you got those drive spools. Big trimmer. It's both mechanical again and electronic. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 stacked platters in there going back and forth. I got no use for it. Yeah, this is just, again, interesting mechanically, but scrap metal. Little nameless transformer. Not labeled. Scrap. Chassis part. Scrap. These are fascinating. I'll probably pull some of these out. Here's some really old Japanese capacitors in here. Some are even Sony brand. I don't know what I'll do with them. This is Elena. 25 volt, 100 microfarad. These big trimmable resistors here. Now this is fun, and I found one in every single one of these you take apart. You want a top for the kids to play with? That's a good one for you. 250 volt. Bigger, probably motor capacitor. Nah, it's not a capacitor start motor. I've had some luck very carefully pushing these pins down just a fraction of an inch longer, and then since they stick down farther, it doesn't tend to, it isn't quite as touchy about how you start them. But you can get some massive spinning tops chassis. This thing, Sony motor, 100 volts. No, it's a capacitor start motor. Well, that don't have any use for me then. I don't care enough about that. We'll see if we can bump start it. I don't know what we'll do with it. You know, and then just some of these little meters. But once again, junk, junk, junk.